Heyo, welcome back to my gaming-inspired art channel where we discuss experience-driven stories, tips, and creative encouragement, making your journey as an artist a little bit cozier and more inspired. I'm your host and artist, VeemonTamer, and today we'll be drawing Samus while discussing how to conquer the fear of selling art, pitfalls to look out for, and cost-effective ways for first-timers to get up and running. And we're starting now. Alright, before anybody asks why we're starting with line art instead of drafts and sketches, it's because of what we talked about on last week's episode while drawing Link. Sadly, it happened again. If you ever encounter this issue in OBS, just stop and restart your recordings often so that way they can finalize and the files will be completely okay. I don't have much experience with the Metroid series, and if you'd allow me to be honest for a quick second, I couldn't figure out how to get Metroid to crawl. Okay, look. 5-year-old me was stuck on platformers like Mario that only require you to make a straight beeline to the end of the stage. As someone who loves Indivisible to pieces while having my eye on Hollow Knight, Momodora, and Owlboy, I feel that it is an absolute crime that I didn't play the groundbreaking classics that inspired the whole Metroidvania subgenre of gaming. I promise that I will go back and fix that. When you think about the setting of Metroid games, you're basically jumping into the scary depths of the unknown, equipped with bare bones minimum while exploring and gaining experience and power-ups for bigger and better things later on in the game. Our art journey is a lot like that, which brings us to today's art topic, mentally preparing to sell art. The thought can be undoubtedly overwhelming, and for good reason. For many, it's uncharted territory with many questions like, is my art good enough? What if nobody buys it and I end up wasting a lot of money on production? Well, the good news is that most of these fears can be put to rest by starting out small and then gradually growing your inventory and reputation as an artist little by little. Everyone has to start somewhere, and by starting small, you have more control over the outcome of the situation. The story of my poorly planned first run of t-shirts sums up why it's better to start small and grow instead of trying to look big. Back in 2017, Smash GG, an esports company, held a t-shirt design competition. When I submitted my entry, it got good reception and even got picked as a finalist. I got so many compliments like, sick design, that's a day one buy, with one comment even jokingly stating, if you do not win this competition, the universe is telling you to start your own clothing line. Alright, so jump forward a bit. I didn't win, but I really did like the design that did end up winning though. After the contest, I had a good amount of people say that if I decided to edit the design that they would buy a shirt from me. The day finally came. I opened my store, I told everybody about it on social media, I was so excited. The orders were so overwhelmingly non-existent. I got a few sales from friends and a few more sales at my first artist alley set up in my hometown. Surely with all that hype surrounding my post when I first entered that competition, I should have sold out by now, right? What happened? What went wrong? For starters, I messed up by overextending and shooting for an unrealistic goal. I let all of the comments, likes, retweets, and DMs of this competition get to my head. People love and absolutely are allowed to window shop, and sometimes people just want to let you know that something you did was cool. I'm now sitting on $1,500 worth of inventory that I don't exactly know how to move, so now I'm feeling lost and absolutely upset that I wasted all this money on a failed product. One thing I did notice is that the cheaper keychains that I also put into production ran laps around the t-shirts in terms of sales. It wasn't until a year later that I attended my second Artist Alley event that the shirts started selling very well. Truth was, I hadn't failed as an artist like I thought I did. I just didn't have my products in front of the correct crowd. It was then that I realized that it would have been better for me to have started smaller with the keychains and worked my way up to the shirts later after I found the correct crowd. Even though I did things out of order, I'm super blessed that it all worked out in the end. So here's my advice to anybody thinking about taking the first steps towards selling art. For starters, where would you sell art? This is where you gotta do some research. It's going to be different for everybody. What's your niche? For example, if I draw fighting game inspired things, then grabbing an Artist Alley booth at a fighting game tournament might be within my best interest. If you want to sell online, platforms like Etsy, StoreNV, Redbubble are darn near free outside of fees that you may accumulate after you sell the product. Starting out with smaller yet popular items like stickers, buttons, and art prints is a cost-effective way of minimizing the risk and headache that I had to go through when I first started selling art. It's definitely possible to start selling on a small budget, so kick the idea out of your head that it's too scary and just go for it because you never know unless you try. Now that Samus is complete, we're moving on to the star of the show next. But before we do, here's my question of the day. What fears have stopped you from selling art in the past? By leaving your stories and comments down below, you help the community grow, as well as let me know what topics to cover next. I also want to give a huge thank you and shout out to those who support me over on Patreon. If you like the content and want to support me and my future goals as an artist, please consider signing up. Subscriptions for the main tier start for as little as $1 a month. They grant you access to things such as power to vote on what I draw or what I stream in the future, your name at the end of every YouTube video, stickers mailed to you each month, as well as videos and blogs featuring behind the scenes and cut content. That's it for this episode of Island Style, and I'll catch you all next time.